super. Alright, come. Alright, Shalom.
Shalom.
Alright. Salaki. Close this thing. Alright, Shalom.
Shalom.
These are the brothers from the GMS Atlanta Church. First and foremost, giving all glory, honor, and praises unto
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rakakodash.
double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who were well. Peace, love, salutation to the 1144 first fruit. I'm the brother Kasha Kuala.
The brother Rock. Nathaniel. Zakaria. Kalai.
Alright, and you can see by the lesson or the title of the live stream today, it says, have a royal mentality, okay? Having a royal mentality, okay? Because we're regal men. If you're an ancient, if you consider yourself an ancient man, you consider yourself a regal man. And regal goes into like majesty or kingdomship, if that's a word, okay? Like King Solomon, he was a regal man. King David was a regal man. King Josiah, King Hezekiah, all right? King Joash, those were regal men, and they had a royal mentality, all right? So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get whoever has it, Matthew 6 and 19, and I'm going to let y'all brothers run with it after this. You know, you go ahead.
This is Matthew chapter 6 and verse 19. Lay not up for yourself treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doeth corrupt.
That's right. It says, pretty much what your mind is what you're going to put your effort into, okay? So it says, lay not your treasures upon earth, correct? So, man, forget the things of this world. Forget what's going on. You know, forget what you got. The scriptures say if you don't hate your life, you're not worthy, okay? You don't have a kingdom mentality or a royal demeanor about yourself. If you're worried about your car, your house, what you got going next, what time you got to be at work, you know, if your lady's happy, and get the hell out of here with that. That's weak, all right? Kings aren't weak, okay? Being royal and being regal, you're not feeble, all right? You're strong-minded, all right? Keep going, brother.
It says, and where thieves break through and steal.
And where thieves break through and steal, all right? Who can break through and steal right now? Esau. And the way of Esau society, that can break through and steal, all right? Because you got to say Esau society because it's philosophy, all right? Everybody's indoctrinated. Anybody can run up into your house in an Edomite malicious type spirit, which is the Edomites are the self-proclaimed white man. You gotta let that be known, okay? Anyone can go up into your house and and steal all your stuff, man. All your physical, personal belongings, okay? But what can Esau not do? Go ahead.
But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven. It says, but lay up for yourselves treasure in heaven, where neither moth nor rust do corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal.
That's right, and nobody can take that regal spirit away from you. All right? Esau can do whatever he can, whatever he wants, whatever, kill the body, but he can't kill the spirit. Okay? So whatever the things that we have via these scriptures, via this knowledge, that's something that cannot be taken away. All right? That's why the scriptures say, let no man take that crown. If you got a crown, you are a royal person. So have a royal mentality and be in that type of life. Is there any more in there?
Verse 21. For where your treasure is, there will your heart also be.
Where your treasure is where your heart also will be. Now, if you're a royal person, your treasure is in the kingdom of heaven. All right? And that's where your mind should be towards. All right? If your mind is towards the kingdom, you're looking to rule. You're looking to be in the lot of Psalm the 2nd chapter, of Revelation the 2nd chapter, having your enemies as a footstool, telling the Hamite to go beat the shit out of an Edomite. That's a royal mentality. Having slaves, that's a royal mentality. Being ruler over your oppressors, okay? And having the ones who oppress you in this life be the ones who stay upon you in the next. The word stay means to lean upon. Because all the other nations are going to flow into Israel. They're going to need us, you know. So if y'all got precepts, bring them out.
Can I have that word royal for you?
Go ahead, brother.
This is the word royal on the online etymology. It says pertaining to a king. Then it goes into royal, regal, splendid, magnificent. Then it says of a king, kingly, royal, regal. Then it says
You see, it said magnificent. Like I just said earlier, it goes being like a majesty. That's why they'll be like, Your Majesty. Because they understand the royalness that we possess, or that individual possesses. You know, Your Majesty. Even when you read the scriptures, when they came to King David in 1 Kings, the first chapter, it says, if I'm not mistaken, it's 1 Kings, the first chapter. They say, "O King, live forever." You know, that's a thing that, or a sign of respect that people will say to an individual who's full of royalty, just oozing out of them, man. All right, because being royal is your demeanor and your characteristics and how you carry yourself. Okay, you can say it all up and down, but if you don't portray it, if you don't show it, if your light don't shine, then who's to say you're a regal person? All right, if you're actually doing what the scriptures say, all right, and applying your everyday life, you're going to show your majesty to the rest of the people, you know, that you see on your day-to-day business and your travels. You know, you got it, bro.
Con, and I'm gonna bring up this point. It says fit for a king. You know, who are the hopeful elect today? Who's gonna be fit for that position to rule? You know, to be a king. You know, because Yahweh Shah, he designated certain men across the four corners of the earth to be our future king. You know, and like the brother said, we can see some of the royalties, some of the parts of Yahweh Shah's spirit oozing out of certain brothers. You know. But I'm going to continue. It says, move in a straight line, to direct in a straight line. It says, thus, to lead and rule. And that was it on that.
That's right, rule in a straight line. All right? If you're ruling in a straight line, you're straightforward with things. There's only one way to enter this truth. All right? And there's only one way. But pretty much there's only one. If you're taking that straight way, there's only one way out, and that's salvation. If you're not taking that straight way, the other way is leading to death. Okay? And if you're royal about it, you're going to take that straight path, man. And it says one fit to rule.
And then for the noun, it says a member of a royal family.
Woo! A member of a royal family. Woo! What family are we? Hey, man. All right, even the scriptures say go back to the ancient. Who, out of the line out of the seed of Abraham came out royalty. All right, we are considered of a royal family, man. All right, the great men were before us. All right, that's why we say in the Passover of our prospective tribes, we'll be like, me personally, I'll be Bun Gad. You know what I'm saying? Because that was a man of royalty, man. All right, that man had his own nation. That's big time. You know, when you look at the Judites, man, that is a line of royalty. There's no other reason why Yahweh Shai came out of a pure line of Judah. You know, because it's just straight royalty. You know, most of the kings that we read about were Judites. They had royal mentalities and royal mindsets. That's why we read about them. I got preachers. Y'all go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, this is First Peter. I'm sorry, Salaki. This is 2 Peter. Salaki. This is 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9, and it says, "But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, and holy nation, a particular people, that ye should show forth the praises of him who hath called you out of the darkness into his marvelous light." Okay? So that goes into what the brother was saying about that majestic, you know, walking into that marvelous light, having that royal mentality, you know. We're a generation of men that the Most High is saying that we are a royal priesthood, a chosen generation, you know. So coming into this truth, you gotta have a higher mentality, a royal mentality. You know, you can't have that nigga mindset. You know, you gotta have that high royal mentality, because in the kingdom of heaven, we're gonna be judges. If we be at that number, we're gonna be judges. We're gonna be of that royal, and that's what we should be striving to be that on this side. You know.
Come on.
That's right. Beautifully put. You got a precept, Kyle?
All right, this is First Peter 1:15. But as he had called you is holy, so be ye holy in all manner of conversation.
Oh, it says be ye holy. Go into the word holy, it means consecrated. Consecrated means separate. You know?
Yeah.
If you're separate from something, that means you separate yourself from impurities. All right? When you're a majesty, your majesty, your Lord, my Lord. All right? Because we're going to be called lords. You know, even just like the scripture say, what is that in Ephesians? I think it was Ephesians, the 5th chapter. It may have been, where it says, even Sarah called Abraham Lord. All right? Because she saw his regalness. You know, she saw his majestic. You know what I'm saying? She saw his kingship and his royalty and his royal mentality. You know, being holy is a big thing. You know, separate yourself from the bones, man. You know, cream of the crop. You got something, brother?
Yeah. Reread it said in conversation, because the word conversation goes back to conduct. So how you conduct yourself and what you portray, what you give off, has to be of a royal stock. Okay, you can't be condemning 2/3 and acting like one.
Yeah.
Okay, so like it has to be something about you or aura about you that people see, that when they see you, like, man, they probably can't put their finger on it, but it's just something about that guy.
Yeah.
All right, and that's the way we have to carry ourselves, by being holy and separate from these other nations, especially the heathen. You should have no heathenistic characteristics whatsoever, man, if you consider yourself an Israelite man. Okay, because to be a heathen, man, you just wild. You can do whatever you want to do. You're not held to any kind of standard. You know, you're not up under the law. Okay, but to be under that law and to be of a royal stock, man, it has to come off that way.
That's right, brother.
And I got a quick precept. Sirach 19:29. It says, "A man may be known by his look, and one that have understanding by his countenance,
That's right.
when thou meetest him." Okay, so when you meet people on your day-to-day, it should be something about you that sets you apart, that makes you holy and separate from these other people, man, on your day-to-day. All right, but that's all I had, bro. Cause in on that precept, bro. Yeah, you can
Okay.
go ahead.
This is First Peter 1:15.
Mm-hmm.
But as he had called you is holy, so be ye holy in all manner of conversation,
Mm-hmm. Conduct. Yeah, go.
because it is written, be ye holy, for I am holy.
Mm-hmm.
That's the spirit. He says, for it is written, be ye holy, because I'm holy.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you get that from? Who did Peter get that from? Yahweh Shai. When we go to, what's that, Matthew 5, and what is that, 48, I think? It says, be ye perfect like my Father is in heaven. It's perfect.
Yep.
You know, strive for perfection. You know, how do you achieve perfection? By doing what's in Sirach or Ecclesiasticus, the 17th chapter, and offending less. Repent, meaning apologize for your actions, and turn back from the wicked ways, and don't do them anymore. Learning from your mistakes. Literally, that's how you obtain perfection. Okay? All of us are striving for perfection. All of us are trying to strive for that royal seat. You know? Get that ultimately have Yahweh Shai, which you read about in the Apocrypha, I think 2nd Ezra, where is a man whose stature was taller than everybody else. You know, put the crowns on his gifts. We're trying to achieve that. That's like how when you saw you watched, you know, movies like Knights at the Round Table, whatever, and they double, bing, bing, on your shoulders, and they have knelt down. That's what we are looking for. But we're looking for that kneeling down. We made it. You know, we did it. Now we're going to get our royalty. You know, and he puts that crown right on top of our heads. And now we're a part of a monarchy. You know, we get our sovereignty back. That's being royal, bro. That's being royal. You had a precept?
I had something. This is Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6.
Yes, sir.
It says, "For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy power, and the Lord thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself." All right, and if you've been chosen to be a special person, you should carry yourself as such. All right, something that's special and precious. All right, is held to a higher standard than something that's just of the norm. Okay, or basic. Okay, it says a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Above all the people that are upon the face of the earth. Okay, we're set aside from those people. The Lord is clearly a separatist, okay?
Very much so.
And you should carry yourself way different than these other nations, man.
That's right.
All right? If you out here carrying yourself as with these Edomite characteristics, you know, like the brother was saying, he was talking, the Edomite at his job was talking about how he could have slept with one of their co-workers' wives. You know, that's way off, man. And by us being royal, we don't do those type of things. Okay, we don't even partake in those kind of conversations.
That's right.
All right, we dead that shit, man.
That's
We're like, we don't even get into going into things like that, dealing with other men's women. All right, we don't even eat the way these people eat.
That's right. The scriptures say, I didn't mean to interrupt, but the scripture say, loosely paraphrased, I forgot where it was, but pretty much if a man commit adultery, he lacks wisdom, or he's a man void of understanding. You know, he doesn't have the correct understanding. And shalom to the bishop Tazalam, Yahweh Shem Shabbarakatah.
So on.
But, you know, just that's a hedonistic characteristic to be conducting yourself in adultery and stealing and killing and murdering, all that. That's not royal.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? That's not royal. If you're royal, you're in order, bro. You know, you can keep going, bro. So
verse 8, "But because the Lord loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn upon his fathers, have the Lord brought you out with a mighty hand, and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen, from the hands of Pharaoh, king of Egypt."
That's right.
All right, and the point was pretty much made, man. We're separate from these other nations, man. And even, you know, we're separated from 2/3 of our people as well, because they have those hedonistic characteristics, where it's a YOLO type of spirit, or just, you know, a bunch of fuckery, man.
That's right.
Or anything goes. We don't think like that.
That's right.
All right.
Hey, can someone get? I think it's Sirach 24:7.
I got a quick question.
Go ahead, brother. Bring it up.
Alright, this is Deuteronomy 28 and 9, and it says, "The Most High shall establish thee an holy people unto himself, as he has shown unto thee, if thou shalt keep the commandments of the Most High and walk in his ways." And that's how you have a royal mentality, man. You know, by keeping the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability, you know, because then he'll bless you with that wisdom necessary to judge situations like a royal. You know what I'm saying?
Come.
You know,
You hold it.
so hey, you know, that's all I really had on that. You know,
Yeah, that's a beautiful point, man. You know, if you conduct yourself in the commandments of the Lord, you show that you love the Lord. You show that you love your hierarchy, your order, your commander in chief. Okay, and that's a royal thing to do. The scriptures, like me and the brother was chopping it up on the way here, coming on the way here, was saying, like, one of my favorite verses is Hebrews 3:1. You brethren, partakers of the heavenly calling, consider the high priest apostle, Yahushua HaMashiach. All right, the high priest apostle of your profession, Yahushua HaMashiach. And if we're professionals, that means we have an operation. We have something to accomplish. We have a job to do. All right? And if we consider our high priest apostle, Yahushua, that's our manager in our job. We're the employees. We get orders and direction of what to do. All right? And if Yahushua is telling us to do these certain things, that's being royal. All right? Because what? Yahushua is life. According to Romans what's that, 7 and 14, it says the law is spiritual. Now we understand that the law is Yahweh Shai. If he's commanding us to do those things that are in the law, well, guess what? That's a royal thing to be partaking in, man. That's a royal mindset that you must have, man. You got to hold that and get that Sirach.
John, this is Sirach 24 and 7. With all this I sought rest, and whose inheritance shall I abide?
That's right. And when you read up top, verse 1 is speaking about the wisdom. But ultimately, this is Yahweh Shai, man. All right? It says, where shall I rest? So go ahead.
Verse 8, so the creator of all things gave me a commandment, and he that made me cause my tabernacle to rest, and said, let thy dwelling be in Jacob, and thy inheritance in Israel. He created me from the beginning before the world, and I shall never fail.
That's right. And he shall never fail. And the Lord, Yahweh Shai, is a royal man. After he did everything that the Lord told him to do, according to John the 17th chapter, he asked for glorification. Okay, when you're glorified, you're in a seat of authority. You're in a seat of a king. Okay, you're in a seat of a king. All right, you're big time, for the lack of better words. And if we're drinking of the same cup as Yahweh Shai, well, guess what we're going to receive? That regal, royal type mindset, and literally the benefits of being a royal person and the benefits of having a royal mentality right now. That's right. You know, you got it, bro.
All right, this is 1 Corinthians 10 and 21. Ye cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils.
That's right. You can't serve two masters. Go ahead.
Ye cannot ye cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and of the table of devils.
That's right. You can't be wavering. You can't be double-minded. You can't be indecisive. You can't be hesitant. You can't be a little bitch. Okay, for lack of better words. You can't be a little female. All right? Females are, where you want to go to eat, honey? I don't know. All right, let's go to Chick-fil-A. I don't want that.
Yeah, that's a double mind right there.
Look, you can go anywhere you want to. All right, let's get some pasta. I don't want pasta. You being lukewarm. When you go into the root, I remember the brother Nathaniel and Tazawam did a video on lukewarm, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
When you go into the etymology of lukewarm, it means weak. If you want to be royal, you cannot be weak. Like I said earlier, you can't be feeble. You know, keep going, bro.
All right, I'm going to continue on. This is 1 Corinthians 10, verse 23. No, Salaki, 22. Do we provoke the Lord to jealousy? Are we stronger than he? All things are lawful for me, but all things are not expedient.
See, that's, read up a little bit more where he says, read up a little bit more, you know what I mean.
Okay. All right, this is 1 Corinthians 10,
You know,
and I start at 20. But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice
no,
to...
so like, reread that verse you just read.
All right, come.
Just reread that, what you just read.
Come, this is 1 Corinthians 10, verse 22. Do we provoke the Lord to jealousy? Are we stronger than he?
15, 14. That's right. Do we provoke the Lord to jealousy? Are we stronger than he? That's a rhetorical question, ain't it? Hell no, we ain't stronger than you. Get that, Job 14 and 15, real quick.
This is Job chapter 15 and verse 14.
Yeah.
What is man that he should be clean? And he which is born of a woman that he should be righteous.
That's right, that he should be righteous, man. There's another one in Job 4. I have to find it. But what is man that he should be clean? Keep reading.
Verse 15. Behold, he putteth no trust in his saints. Yet the heavens are not clean in his sight.
So keep going with your precept, brother.
Come, you want me to continue on?
Yeah, you can continue.
All right, this is 1 Corinthians 10, and I started 22 again. Do we provoke the Lord to jealousy? Are we stronger than he? All things are lawful for me, but all things are not expedient.
That's right. All things are lawful, but not expedient. All right. It's simple as Jake. but it's lawful to have 4 women if we want to. You are in Esau society. Is that expedient, bro? Is that wise? Is that having a regal mindset? Hell no, because you're focused on women, we should be focused on the kingdom.
Exactly.
All right? You are not having a royal mentality when you got bitches on your mind, bro. Go ahead.
All things are lawful
See,
for me.
that's why the scripture said that it created stumbling blocks. When David talked about stumbling blocks, Jeremiah, was it Isaiah 4:1 is a stumbling block to men who do not have a royal mentality. They're focused on with female. Yeah, therefore I could have 7 women. No, bro. I ain't worried about that. That's gonna come.
Exactly.
That's gonna come, bro. Right now I'm worried about getting the hell up out of Babylon. Go ahead, bro.
All things are lawful for me, but all things edify not.
That's like all things. You said all things edify not. That's right. And what is edification, man? The Hebrew word for edify is banah, which means to build. Okay? All right? When you're doing the things that are not expedient, when you're doing the things that are not expedient, of course you're not being a royal mentality, but you're not being charitable. According to 1 Corinthians 8:1, it says, but charity edifieth. Okay? Charity edifieth. All right? So if you're doing the things that are not expedient, if you're not using wisdom and having a royal mentality, you're not edifying. Therefore, what? According to Romans, you're more than likely you'll fall. And according to Romans, the ones who fell, the Lord dealt with severely, is what it says. All right? And the ones who pretty much stayed righteous in his goodness, he dealt with goodness. You know? Bring the precept out, bro. If you got it.
This is Colossians 3:2. It says, set your affection on things above, not on things on earth. All right, and that ties into the brother was saying is because things are, lawful but not expedient. All right, you worried about women. All right, that's setting your affections on things above the earth, where we should be having a higher mentality. All right, and a regal mentality like the brother keep mentioning. So when you have that regal mentality, you're setting your affections on things above, spiritual things, okay? Reaping salvation, all right? Getting that crown placed upon your head, all right? So on and so forth. You're not worried about, little worldly things, all right, that has nothing to do with you being a future ruler, of a whole nation, all right? That's not having the right mentality, man. You can't rule thinking about or having your affection set upon everything that is upon the earth, because you'll be pulled in every direction. All right, you have to keep your mind set and focus on the mission and the goal, and that's rulership.
That's right. Hey, if I may say real quick before you bring your precept out, hey, the brother at Taliban, he said a royal person is manly, and he brought out 2 Ezra chapter 10 and 33. It says, and he say unto me, stand up manfully, and I will advise thee. It says, and the brother said that's a part of the territory. Being a royal, you gotta be a man. A man ain't feeble, he ain't weak, man. But go ahead, brother.
That goes into that, because me and the brother, Arad did a lesson on being austere, being a man, was bringing what? Royalty. But being a righteous man, not a wicked man.
That's right.
This is a classic. This is 1 John 2 and 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. So if you block out everything in the world, what's going to be on your mind 24/7? The Lord, the spiritual things. If you S out the woman and the things that come with this wicked world, your number one goal is going to be Yahweh Shem Yahushua, That's your number one goal.
That's
How
right.
you going to get up out of here?
The scripture says, seek ye the kingdom, and then the things shall be added unto you. Just paraphrase it. You got it, bro?
I'm going to continue. It says, for all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life is not of the Father, but it's of the world. So when you out here just worrying about everything else, but this word, you're not of the Father, bro. The love of the Father is not in you. You can't have a regal mindset, you know, which means you might be a 2/3, man, you know, because worrying about this world 24/7 bring forth death,
That's right.
you know, and it's gonna get into that. I'm gonna continue on to verse 17. It says, "And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of the Most High abideth forever." There it is right there, man. You worried about the carnal things of this world, man. It's gonna pass away, and you attaching yourself on to this world, you're gonna pass away along with it, you know. But then I'm gonna read this part right here. "But he that doeth the will of the Most High abideth forever." Yeah. What's the will of the Most High? To do his law, statutes, and commandments, man. You know. Then he said, "If you love me, do my commandments."
That's right.
You know. So if you're worrying about Yahweh Shem Shai, including the body, including renewing your mind, cleansing your old man daily, you know, that's a part of it, man. You're gonna live forever. You know.
Alright, I got
Big Kaladi
Yeah,
first. and then
Kaladi,
we'll get back to it.
I got some. This 2 Timothy 2, verse 4. "No man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life."
That's a good precept.
Yeah,
You got it.
Okay, bro.
That's right, man. So, you know, when you're at war, man, you know, you can't be worried about the things that's going on in this life. You know, with us being in this truth, you know, we can't be worried about what this woman is doing, you know. What's the new car that's about to come out, you know. Worried about things to please the flesh, you know. We got to handle our Father's business, you know. We got to do the work, the will of Yahweh Shem Shai, you know. Not worried about, you know, the things of the flesh, man. You know, the lust of this world, man. Okay, and I'm going to tell you on that he may please him who had chosen him to be a soldier. You know, who chose us to be a soldier, man. Lord willing, we be of the hopeful elect. You know, Yahweh Shem Shai. You know, so that's, you know, us keeping the law, statute, commandments, you know, to the best of our ability. You know, having faith in Yahweh Shem Shai, you know, doing the work. Okay? Going out to the highways and byways, you know, warning our people, you know, telling them, you know, of the things that's about to come to this place, man. You know, so they can repent and come back to Yahweh Shem Shai.
That's right.
Come.
Did you have something to say?
Oh no, beautifully said, man. You know, I was just, you know, agreeing.
Yeah, it's fair, man. Go ahead, brother.
Alright, this is Job 30:1. It says, "Then the Most High answered out of the whirlwind and said, Who is this that darkeneth counsel by words without knowledge?" Okay? Because to go by the knowledge of this world is darkness, man. You know, going by the counsel of Yahweh Shem Shai and his men, that is what's light, you know, that is what's life. You know, that is what builds that regal mentality, you know. It's by hearkening on to the knowledge that the Heavenly Father had given us, you know. Then he says, and this is the point right here in verse 3, it says, "Now," and this goes into the Bishop of Tazawan's point when he says, a royal man is a manly man, with roughly paraphrasing.
A royal person is manly.
A royal person is manly, and this is what the Most High said. He said, "Now gird up now thy loins like a man." You know, stop complaining, bro. You good. Stop complaining. You know, have a royal mentality. You know, that's being manly is a royal quality. So, you know, that just lets you know what type of society we have right now, because we have a lot of effeminate men out here, man. You know, that are not really men. They are not of a royal stock, and that's what we're trying to let you men know, that you have to have a higher mindset, a higher way of thinking, a royal mentality, and that's where you get that is from this word, man, from this knowledge.
That's right.
And that goes to this, you know, why do Esau hate it so much? A royal mentality. You know, once you look at everyone today, why is he so focused on destroying the man?
Yeah.
You know? Because Esau knows how it's like to be royal. Because the Lord, you know, perfect example, the Lord was once on this earth. Perfect royalty, man. You know, he was the realest man of all, man. The King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, man. So that's why he's destroying the Israelite man today.
You saw what Yahweh Shai did in 3 years when he started his ministry. It just only took 3 years to wreak that much havoc because of the righteousness and the royalty. Like I said, oozing out of him. He had that drip.
Yeah. Yahweh Shai had that drip, man. But yeah, you know, why do Esau hate it so much? you know, he pushing that feminine vibration out hard, you know?
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So
That's right.
so us knowing that, man, we know what we facing, man. We gotta be a man to be in this truth. We gotta be a man to walk in the how the way the Lord walked, man.
Mhm.
We gotta be a man to sacrifice the things, you know, of this world. You know? We gotta be a man. We gotta man up so we can show Israel that light, man, you know? So we can get up out of here. You know? You got it.
Yeah, kind of. Hey, and that's beautifully said, because another thing too, you know we coming out of the world and we got to have to strip off everything that society has taught us, and you know, and totally be renewed into thinking the way that we're pushing out, being a man, being of a royal priesthood. We have to totally rewire our brain,
Yeah.
all right, coming out of the world, all right, and that's where prayer comes in too as well. Okay, we can't will ourselves into that kind of mentality. We have to pray for it, all right, because when King Solomon first took the throne, okay, he prayed for those kind of royal characteristics to be put upon him, all right, to judge a great nation, you know, so on and so forth. I'll go ahead and read it, and then there was an account too that I want to get into in First Kings.
You got it.
This is 1 Kings chapter 3 and verse 7. It says, "And now, O Lord, my power, thou hast made thy servant king instead of David, my father. And I am but a little child. I know not how to go out or come in." Okay, that's him saying, I have the slightest idea, you know, about being a ruler or a king over people. You
Oh,
know?
Salaki, bro.
Mhm.
If I may interject.
Go ahead.
Because when you read, this was a dream.
Right.
And when usually you have a dream about something, it's because something was on your mind.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see where Solomon's mind actually was. Okay? If you say, you know, I've been around this brother for a long time, we've been chopping it up, you know, we've been in the spirit, and you end up going to sleep, he may pop up in your dream. Or if you have a vision, he may pop up in your vision that night.
Mm-hmm.
This is the same thing that Solomon was having. Because when you read in the second chapter, King David charged him to keep the commandments of the Lord.
Right.
So that was fresh on his mental after his father had passed away.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he was missing King David, his father, man, he probably passed, but he told me to do this. He fell asleep at night, and this is what he had.
Yeah.
You know, it was on his mind. Go ahead, brother.
This is 1 Kings 3 and verse 7 again. It says, "And now, O Lord, my power, thou hast made thy servant king instead of David, my father. And I am but a little child. I know not how to go out or come in. And thy servant is in the midst of thy people, which thou hast chosen, a great people, that cannot be numbered nor counted for the multitude." Okay, that's Israel. He's being anointed, he's being appointed to be king over Israel. And he's saying to the Lord, you know, basically give him, you know, what he needs in order to take charge over these people, man, and his chosen people. Verse 9, it says, "Give therefore thy servant an understanding heart to judge thy people, that I may discern between good and bad." And that's another characteristic you must have, you know, with being a royal. You have to have discernment. You have to have the spirit of judgment. Okay? It says, "That I may discern between good and bad, for who is able to judge this thy so great a people?" All right? Verse 10, "And the speech pleased the Lord that Solomon had asked this thing," because Solomon could have asked for anything. All right? He could have asked for carnal things, the money, the clothes, the hoes, you know, so to speak.
The chariots back in the day.
Right. Right. Yeah. Dripped out chariot and all these carnal things, man. But nah, man, he asked for the spiritual aspect. But in retrospect, the Lord added those things onto him anyway. Okay. But I'll skip down to the account where his judgment and discernment had to be used. Okay. With the two women, you know, because with us, you know, having to have that sort of rulership, we have to have certain ways of discernment and judgment and utilize those characteristics. This is 1 Kings 3:16. It says, then came two women that were harlots unto the king and stood before him. And the one woman said, O Lord, I and this woman dwell in one house, and I was delivered of a child with her in the house. Okay, these two women lived under the same roof, all right, and both of them had a child. It says, verse 18, and it came to pass the third day after that, I was delivered, that this woman was delivered also. Okay, so they gave birth at the same time. And it says, we were together, there were no strangers with us in the house, save we two in the house. So it wasn't anybody in the house but the two women. Verse 19, and this woman's child died in the night because she overlaid it. Verse 20, and she arose at midnight and took my son from bedside me, and then, and while thine handmaid slept, and laid it in her bosom, and laid her dead child in my bosom. So she's saying the woman, as she was asleep, switched out her dead baby for her baby that was alive. All right. So that came a conflict of whose the living child was and whose the dead child was, and let's see how King Solomon was able to get to the bottom of the situation. Verse 21. It says, and when I rose in the morning to give my child suck, behold, it was dead. But when I had considered it in the morning, behold, it was not my son, which I did bear. All right, she realized that this wasn't her son. Verse 22, and the other woman said, nay, but the living is my son, and the dead is thy son. And this said, no, but the dead is thy son, and the living is my son. Thus they spake before the king. So they're going back and forth. No, it's my son. No, it's mine. Total confusion. Verse 23. Then the king, the one said, this is my son that liveth, and thy son is the dead. And the other said, nay, but thy son is dead, and my son is the living. And the king said, bring me a sword. And they brought a sword before the king. And the king said, divide the living child into two, and give half to one and half to the other.
Fair.
Right. So King David, like, hey, forget it. King Solomon, forget it, man. Hey, bring me a sword. We finna get to the bottom of this. Chop the little motherfucker in half, and we'll.
You gotta think about it too. It was, the case. What you read was the case.
Yeah. Right.
And then what you read next was Solomon's decision was the judgment, the
Right.
royal judgment.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but you gotta think about it. With Samson, when that girl who pretty much nagged him almost to the brink of death. What do you think Solomon was like? But that was my baby. Give me the kid.
Right.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up. Just give me the kid. Give me a sword. We're gonna split him in half, and we're gonna let it be. But let's listen to what happened.
Verse 26. Then spake the woman, whose the living child was, unto the king, for her bowels yearned upon her son, and said, O my Lord, give her the living child, and in no wise slay it. But the other said, let it be neither mine nor thine, but divided. Verse 27.
See, the spirit beareth witness on who's who. You obviously can tell whose child it really belonged to.
Right.
Because the lady who's like, just give it to her and let the child live. Well, that was obviously her child.
Yeah.
Because she just wanted the child to live regardless. Well, go ahead.
She had a certain level of compassion for the
Integrity.
child. Yeah. Verse 27. Then the king answered and said, give her the living child, and in no wise slay it. She is the mother thereof. Right? Verse 27. And all Israel heard of the judgment which the king had judged, and they feared the king. And for they saw the wisdom of the Most High was in him to do judgment. All right? So ultimately, he came down with righteous judgment. And that's the kind of mentality and the level of discernment we must have as well by, having that royal mindset.
That's right. Go ahead, brother.
This is Isaiah chapter 3, verse 12, and it says, well, because this is going into what the brother was talking about earlier, and it just made me think of a scenario that happened at my job the other day. I was talking to a young lady, and she was talking about how, the men in this society are just so super effeminate, They don't think like men. And I asked her, I said, well, who raises them? Who raises all these men? And she said, well, the women do. And I said to her, can a woman teach a man how to be a man? And she said, no. I said, so there you go. So the women are teaching the men how to be effeminate, right? And then it goes into the scripture right here, Isaiah 3 and 12, it says, and as for my people, children are their oppressors and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err and destroy the way of thy paths. And it's the women in these churches, it's the women in these homes that be raising these children that teach them these unmasculine, unmanly ways, man. To teach you to be effeminate. The brother had put a video in chat the other day, and it was just, it was a Jake, and he was just going off talking about how these men out here are like females nowadays, and there's nothing regal about them, and a lot of it stems from the fact that, men ain't coming out of their mama's bosom, man. They still connected to it,
They still got the umbilical cord.
Mama's boy.
Because I was going to bring out this precept, because I know this brother kept quoting it. This second Ezra 2 and 43. And in the midst of them, there was a young man of a high stature, taller than all the rest. And upon every one of their heads, he set crowns, which is talking about, the elect. It goes back to that royal family that I brought out, the definition. And out of that royal family comes the hopeful elect. The man who's been regal unto the Most High, the man that's been cutting off this world, That's who is he talking about. Then it says, and was more exalted, which I marvel at greatly. Your majesty, my Lord, that's to come, After all these things, man. Us having that royal mentality towards Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And not being in that nigga spirit, that I want to roll a joint up and mess with his woman, and that's not a royal mindset. In order to get that crown on your head, man, we gotta walk as Yahweh Shah did, man. That's what it all boils down to. Who's gonna do my work? Who's not gonna do my work? Who is of my royal stead? Who is not of my royal stead? It's a division.
That's right.
Yeah, you got it.
I got some. This Revelation 5 and 9 point at 10. This Revelation 5 and 9, and they sung a new song saying, thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof, for thou wast slain and have redeemed us to the Most High by thy blood out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation, and 10, and had made us unto our power kings and priests, and we shall reign on the earth.
That's right. I'm gonna get the word kings real quick in the Greek. It's basileus, if I'm saying that correctly. It says a leader of the people, prince, which in order to take up upon the name Israel or Yasha'Allah, that's what you are. You gotta be royal to take on the name of an Israelite. Especially claiming that you're from a specific tribe. It says a commander, all right, lord of the land. See, that goes back to what we said, that we're going to be called lords. It says king. Let's go into the Strong's definition. It says, through the notion of foundation of power, a sovereign, all right? So we're going to get the word sovereign, because the word sovereign is heavy. Okay? So lock it, bear with me. So the word sovereign I love the word sovereign. It says a supreme ruler, especially a monarch. Monarch. If you go into any type of monarchy, what did they have at the head? A king. Then they had their princes, their princesses, their queen, whatever. Then they had their knights. But it was of a royal, majestic order. All right? It says possessing supreme or ultimate power. Sovereign is what the word king means. Okay? It says of a nation or its affairs acting or done independently without outside interference. Israel gonna do that independently. Ain't gonna be no say-so. There ain't gonna be no Psalm 83 in the kingdom laws. It's gonna be Israel. God dang it. There ain't gonna be no Confederate. No, Israel. And y'all do what we say. That's why we have a Micah 4:1 where it says all the nations will flow into it. That's why you read in Revelation, was that 5 and 9, where it says the tongues, the nations, the people. All right, because they need somebody to be a regal or a royal people to rule over it. Sovereignty. It says, and we shall reign on the earth, which is sovereignty again, man. You know, did y'all have any closing remarks? We get one more precept. We get Proverbs chapter 22 and 29, and we'll close off on that.
This is Proverbs 22. You want 29?
22 and 29.
All right, this is Proverbs 22 and 29. A wicked man hardeneth his face, but as for the upright, he directed his way.
Is that Proverbs 22?
Oh, Slaki. No, that's
29?
all right. This is Proverbs 22 and 29. Slaki. This is Proverbs 22 and 29. Seest thou a man diligent in his business?
See a man diligent in his business. Go ahead.
He shall stand before
He
kings.
shall stand before kings.
He shall not stand before mean
He
men.
shall not stand before mean men. And when you go into that word mean, it means illegitimate or people who don't matter. Okay? I'm just get the word for edification's sake. In the Hebrew, it's chashak, and it means obscure, insignificant. So literally the word mean means bastard. All right? The word bastard means an illegitimate child or insignificant child. Esau's a bastard. Okay? All right? It says, or low. All right? But it says a man diligent in his business. In his business. You worry about Job's. You feel me? All right? So if you focused on what you need to be focused on, then what does that mean? You loyal. You about your business. When you quoted it. When Yahushua was on, when you read in, what's that, John the 2nd chapter? When he did his first miracle, turned water into the wine, and Mary came, hey, what we gonna do about this? It's like, woman? What that got to do with me? It ain't my time yet. And he said, I'm about my father's business. You know what I'm saying? He was a man about his business because he had a certain task and mission at hand, and he had a royal mentality. I ain't worried about no woman. I ain't worried about that. I'm trying to save this whole nation right now, man. What can I worry about some wine for? But man, just get the barrel, man, put some water in it and take it out. And next thing you know, they dip in his wine. But yeah, I ain't worried about that right now, man. I got my disciples with me. We about to push this word. We about to do what it does. You know what I'm saying? That's how Yahushua was playing out when he was on earth. But he was a man diligent in his business. He was royal. And it says he shall stand before kings. Okay? Yahushua, even, the disciples that were with him, excluding Judas, of course, because you know what he did in the aftermath. But when Peter, Bartholomew, just go to Matthew the 10th chapter, you can read about who the disciples were. You know what I'm saying? They were kings. They didn't know it at the time. But they're kings, man. They were kings, and they back on this planet Earth today doing the same thing, pushing the word, and being in a royal state of mind. And it says that he shall not stand before mean men. All right? If you ain't royal, if you thinking like a nigga, guess what you're going to be around? A nigga. All right? If you think like a poor man, guess what you gonna be? A poor man. All right? If you surround yourself with men who are rich, you're gonna be rich in knowledge. All right? In the treasures that are hid, according to Colossians, the 2nd chapter, which the word hid just means stored away. The Lord's gonna go into that vault and keep feeding you. He's gonna give you them talents. Simple as that, man. You know? So this lesson, Lord willing, y'all are edified, have a royal mentality, okay? And we want to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Hashem, Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who were well. Peace, love, salutation to the elect 144, first fruit, royal men, okay? And shalom. All right?
Shalom.